Okay, so on this problem, we're doing what's called the method of markers. So we've got these candies here. We've got these 14 candies or whatever they are, pieces of candy probably. Okay, and then we have markers. So there's 4 kids. Here's kid A has put markers in those 3 spots. And now remember what the markers are. Let me help. Let me clarify that. So when kid A puts a marker, I'll erase this in a minute. I know there's a B there also. I'll get to that. I'll explain in just a minute. So kid A has put markers in those 3 spots. What does that mean? Child A, so these are 4 kids. The kids are A, B, C, and D. And there's 15 candies, and we're going to divide them up. 14 candies. We're going to divide them up among the kids. Well, we tell the kids basically put the markers anywhere you want. So when the kid A puts a marker there, the kid A is saying, I would be happy if I got candies 1 through 8 or 9 and 10 or just 11 or 12, 13, and 14. Do you see how when the kid put the marker there, and there, kid A, he or she was breaking the candy up into 4 sections, right? Right, here's the first section, candies 1 through 8. Second section, 9 and 10. Third section is just candy 11. And the fourth section is candies 12, 13, and 14. So what the child is saying, now you might wonder, well, what the child is saying is, I would be happy if you gave me candies 1 through 8. I would feel that's a fair share. Or if you gave me candies 9 and 10, or just 11, or 12, 13, 14. Now you might wonder, why don't they break them up evenly? Well, these are all different candy bars. And maybe this 11 here is some gigantic big block Hershey's, crunch or, chocolate bar or something. Maybe candy 11 is really, really big, and 1 through 8 are super tiny, or they're just a flavor that kid A doesn't like that much. So in kid A's mind, these are 4 equal value sections, 4 fair shares. Kid A could have put his markers wherever he wanted. He chose to put them there. Okay, and how about now kid B feels differently? Let's look at kid B for a second before we get into the details. I want to make sure you understand this. So then kid B put his markers right here, and right here, which means kid B was saying, I'll take candies 1 through 5. That's a fair section. 6 and 7, just candy 8, or 9 through 14. Any of those 4 sections, I'd be happy receiving. So you get the idea. So each kid has put their markers wherever they wanted to divide up the candies. Okay, so now let's get down to business. How do we give them each one of their marked out sections? And so, by the way, notice some people put their markers in the same spot, like C and D right here. C and D both put a marker right there. They're both saying they'd like candies 1 through 4. Well, actually, D's right there. But anyway, C and D both put a marker right there. A and B both put a marker right there. A and D also put a marker right there, right? Sometimes they happen to put their markers in the same spot. Doesn't matter. Doesn't make any difference at all. So they just put down their markers. Okay, so how do we do this process? Well, step 1 is you have to put the numbers on them. A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, etc. So that's step 1. So let's do that. Let's go in and put numbers. So this is D1, D2, D3. This is C1. Doesn't matter what order you do. It's C2, C3. I mean, it's left to right. 1, 2, 3. B1, B2, B3, and A1. Maybe I should do different colors after all that. I'm going to change the color. So I get D, 1, 2, 3. I've got C1, 2, 3. I've got B1, 2, 3. And I've got A, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay. So I've got all the different numbers marked out. That's the first step. Put A1, 2, 3, B1, 2, 3, etc. Step 2, from the left, find the first number 1 marker. Okay. So starting on the left, here we go. This is the left side, right? So what's the first number 1 marker? There it is. D1. So that's step 2. D1. So what do you do with that? Circle to the left. So I'm going to take that marker and I'm going to circle to the left. And that is going to be D's candies. I can do D right now. D's going to get candies 1, 2, and 3. All right. Now, so still reading down here. From the left, find the first number one marker, circle to the left. I did. Then, don't forget this part, then cross out all the number one markers and all of that letter. What does that mean? Cross out all, there's a number one marker, there's a number one marker, there's a number one marker, and there's a number one marker. So why? Because step one is over. Step one is over, so cross out all the number one markers, right? Cross out all the number one markers. And not only that, but all of that letter, all of what letter? Whatever letter you just gave candy to, D, all the other D markers. So that's gone, and that's gone. That's a really important step to help us keep on track and not get too many letters and get confused. So does that make sense what I did there? I started on the left, found the first number one marker and circled, right? That was D. D put a marker right here. That was D's first marker, D1. He put a marker right here saying he would be happy with candies 1, 2, and 3. So I circled to the left and gave him a section he marked out. Then I crossed out all the other number one markers and all the other D's. See how all the D's are crossed out? And all the markers, number one markers are crossed out, B1, C1, A1. They're all crossed out. All right, next step, step 3. From the left again, now find the first number 2 marker. Okay, so starting on the left, here's the left. Find the first number 2 marker. Now, should I do that one? No, that's crossed out. Why is it crossed out? Because we already gave D his candy. All the D's are crossed out. That's why it's so important you cross it out. Keep going. What's the first number 2 marker? Oh, right here. B2. See how B2 is the first number 2 marker? There it is. B2, right, marked right here, is, oops, didn't circle that very well, is the first number 2 marker from the left. So what are you going to do? You're going to circle. And it says circle to the left. So now here's the mistake lots of people make. They'll go like this. They'll go, oh, okay, I got it. So just going to circle to the left. Here we go. B2, circle to the left. That's wrong. That's not correct. Why? Because it says circle to the left, stopping. Where do you stop? When you hit the same letter on the left again. Meaning, I have to stop. Oops. I'm a mess. Here we go. I have to stop right here. Why? Because there's a B marker there and a B marker there. I don't know if this one's crossed out, but I don't know if you can see it. See how there's 2 B markers? That was the B1. I'll probably put it back. This is the B1 marker and the B2 marker. But anyway, see how there's 2 B markers right there? That means B is marking out this section, candies 6 and 7, as a section he would like. So when I'm on step 3 down here, I'm on step 3. From the left, I found the first number 2 marker. So I found the first number 2 marker right here, and I'm going to circle to the left, but not all the way, not here, just right here, because you circle to the left, stopping when you hit the same letter on the left again. So you just go between B and B. We're only giving sections they've marked out. So I'm only going to circle but this section right here because, and that's for B. Oops, didn't make that so well. So that's for B right there. And that's candies 6 and 7 for B. Do you see why that is? Because that is a section that sits between 2 B markers. That's how B marks out a section. You can't go beyond that. Well, then you might say, what about 4 and 5? They're going to be leftovers. We'll do that down in the last step. They're going to be leftover candies. But remember, we're being fair with B here because B marked out that section. B could have put his markers anywhere he wanted. He decided to put a marker here and a marker here, saying he would be happy if he got candies 6 and 7. That's a section he marked out. So we're giving him something he asked for. So we're being fair. So the mistake is you don't want to go beyond the B and just go back to here. It's always B to B. All right. Next one. So that's step 3. Oh, no, we're not done. Then don't forget to cross out. Whenever you circle something, then you have to cross out all the number 2 markers and all of that letter, all the other B's. So I have to cross out all the number 2 markers. So C2, A2, they're crossed out. And all the other B markers. So there are other B markers. So this one's gone, this one's gone. I don't see, oh, right here, this one's gone. Yeah, because B's done. So that makes sense. Anytime we give somebody candy, like we gave D candy, now we've given B candy, right afterwards, don't forget to cross out all the markers that you just did. So we were, on the first step, we crossed out the number 1 marker, and now we're crossing out the number 2 markers, and all of that letter you just gave candy to. All the D's and the B's are now crossed out. All right, and then step 4, from the left, find the first number 3 marker. So again, we start over here on the left. So which is the first number 3 marker? Looking for number 3. Now here's a number 3, but that's crossed out because B has already gotten his candy. Keep going. Where's the 3 marker? 3 marker. There's 1. Okay, but D is crossed out because D already got his candy. But here it is. Here's A3. That comes before C3. So A3 is the one. A3. And where am I going to go to? Only right there. Why? Because see the 2 A markers? Remember, you're only going to circle a section marked out by that letter. I'm not going to do this A3 marker and go all the way back here. You might say, what about that A? Yeah, but it's the next A. Remember, you always circle to the left, stopping when you hit that same letter on the left again. So I'm going to right here's the mark between 11 and 12, between candies 11 and 12, the A3 mark. I'm going to circle to the left, just right there, nothing more. Because that's a section, that's A. A gets candy 11. Remember that we said in the beginning, A really liked candy 11, obviously, because he marked that out. He put a marker here and he put a marker there, which means he was saying, he's marking out his sections. He said candy 11 alone would be good with me. So again, you only circle, you find the first. Here's the 3 markers, the third markers, A3 and C3. Take the first one on the left. We're always taking the first one on the left. Circle to the left, but only to that next A. So there it is. Okay, now, last step. There's only 1 letter left. Find that letter on the right side. Notice the right. And circle to the right. Now it's right. Everything else has been left. Circled left. Everything's been left, but now it's right for the last step, for the last letter. So what letters are we got? A, B, and D. So all we got left is C. So where's C? So go over on the right now, from the right side, and find C. There it is. There's C is the only letter left. And circle to the right. Remember, right there. And there's C. C gets candy. Oops, 14. Does that make sense? See that last step? On the last step, there's only 1 letter left. Find that letter on the right side. Circle to the right. So there it is. That's C's candy. Remember, C did put a marker right here between candies 13 and 14, saying he would be happy with just candy 14. So we give him just candy 14. Okay, now which ones are left over? Which ones are not circled? Well, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, a lot of them, huh? So I'll write those down. So 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 13. That's a lot of candies. 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 13. All those are left over. But notice everybody got a fair share because they all got a section that they marked out. You know what I mean? Like, let's go down through it just to prove it. A got an 11. Well, he marked it. He put markers there and there. He said, I'd be happy with 11. B got 6 and 7. Well, B put a marker here and a marker here saying he'd be happy with 6, 7. C got 14. C put a marker here saying he'd be happy with 14. And D got 1, 2, 3. D put a marker right here saying he'd be happy with 1, 2, 3. Everybody got a section they marked out. And all these candies were left over. Now, one thing I want to say, notice this note here. If 2 letters in the same spot make the letter coming first, take the letter coming first in the alphabet. So let me show you this example right here. Here's an example. On the first step, we're supposed to take the first number. This would be the D1, D2. I'll fill this in real quick. D1, D2, D3. Whoops. Let me show this example. Here's another example. C1, C2, C3, and B1, B2, B3, and A1, A2, A3. Okay, so start on the left, take the first number one marker. Well, right away you see, oh, all three of these are in the same spot, aren't they? A1, B1, D1. Which one do we take? Take the A1. That's what I'm saying down here when I say, if two letters are in the same spot, take the letter that comes first in the alphabet. Right? So we're supposed to take the first number one marker, but all three of those, A, B, and D, have their number one marker right there in the same spot. So who do you take? You take the A. You do the letter that comes first in the alphabet. So this section right here would go to A. That's going to be A. He'll get one. I'll just finish this problem real quick. Next, and then cross out all the A's, because A is done now. Cross out all the number one markers, because step one is over. I see number, oh, that one. All the number one markers. Now, next step, now do the number two markers. So we go from here and we say, okay, where do we see a number two marker? Number two, right there. There's number two marker. Nathan, what about this A2 right here? He's crossed out because A's already got his candy, so he's gone. So B2, C2, D2. So all three of them have their number two marker in the same spot, right between candies 5 and 6. So which one do we give it to? The letter that comes first in the alphabet. The B comes before C and D. So that'll be the B candy. So now, how far left will we go? All the way to the other B, which is right there. That'll be B's candy. See the other B, which is right here? So B put a marker here and a marker here, saying he'd be happy with this section of candy. So we're giving it to him. So B gets 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now cross out all the other B's because B is done. So it's B2 is out here, B3 is out here, and cross out all the other number two markers. So D2, C2, because turn 2 is over. They're all done. So now it's number 3. So keep going from the left until you find the first number 3 marker. What about that A3 there? Nope, A's already got his candy. He's done, right? Keep moving. What about B3? B's got his candy. Keep going. Oh, C3 and D3 are in the same spot. So there's the first number 3 marker. Who are we going to give it to? C comes first in the alphabet. So we're going to give it to C. How far left are we going to go? All the way back to there. Look at that. Because that's where the other C marker is, right? C put a marker there and a marker there. So all of that. So that'll be, this is C's candy. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay, finally, last letter. Who's left? We got A, B, and C. So all that's left is D. Find the D marker from the right side. Remember? The D from the right side, which is right here. So so right there. Let me change this problem. This one came out weird. Let's pretend the D3 marker is right there. If the D3 marker was right there, then I would circle to the right, and that's D's candy. We get 13 and 14. Remember, you circled to the right on the last step. All the other steps you go left, but on the very last step, you go to the right. You find the last letter, because we'd already done A, B, and C, so the last letter was D. You find where the D marker is on the right side and circle to the right, not to the left. So then which candies are left over? There'd only be one leftover candy, that number 12 right there. All the rest were given out. So there we go.